You're listening to Heritage Radio Network.
HRN is food radio supported by you. Learn more at heritageradionetwork.org. This episode of Pizza Quest is brought to you by Central Milling, hand-selected grain, expertly milled for passionate bakers. Central Milling is the farmer, the miller, and the baker working together to preserve American farmland for tomorrow while providing the highest quality flour and grains for the bakers of today. Dating back over 150 years, Central Milling is built on generations of knowledge, and they know that premium flour starts at the source. Employee-owned, Central Milling works directly with their farmers to sustainably grow grains that have exceptional flavor, nutrient content, color, and baking performance, which results in one of the largest selections of premium specialty flour and grains in the country. Hand-selected for the highest baking qualities, milled, cracked, or blended slowly to minimize heat generation, then bake-tested for performance. Learn more about Central Milling and their products at centralmilling.com. I'm Peter Reinhardt. Welcome to Pizza Quest. And I'm here today with Jillana Miller and Ahmad Butler. We are going to have the Miller-Butler experience today. And what I'm going to bring you up to date on what that means to me, because I haven't seen you guys since, for a number of months. The last time we were together was in Napa, California at a pizza competition where we were all competing for prize money. And for various reasons, neither of us won. And, and I always felt like you got screwed by the oven.
Oh yeah, we did a little bit, but that's all right.
and I had my own technical difficulty. I know why I didn't do as well as I had hoped, and I felt like unfortunately, your oven hadn't been set properly for you, and so and that's part of the game when you're in these competitions. Right. So I hope you're going to do it again, because I think they're going to have that competition again. It's the California Milk Advisory Board Pizza Contest, so hopefully you'll enter again. I don't know if my wife will let me enter again or not. But it was fun, and it was fun.
It was fun, right?
Made it so much fun for me was I got to meet you guys, and we got to have dinner together and get to know each other a little bit. And I wanted to share with our viewers a little bit about your story and let them know, what Miller-Butler is and what you're doing and how you got there. So could you give us a little sort of backstory on your whole adventure?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Miller-Butler, she's the Miller, I'm the Butler, she likes to say. It's kind of our shtick.
Our staff uses me every time.
It works. Yeah. It's a good hook.
Yeah. But we started in 2020, sort of at the end of the pandemic.
Pretty early, actually.
I guess so, huh?
Mid-pandemic.
We originally started, we were making pasta.
Mm-hmm.
It was sort of our pandemic hobby in the beginning, when nobody's working, we're just stuck in the house. We just got married right at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was sort of the honeymoon phase, and we were rolling up Garganellis and folding farfalle and just making pasta all day long. And we were like, we can do this.
Nothing like cacio e pepe on a honeymoon, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that was our honeymoon, making pasta. Lots of pasta.
So we started out making pasta, and
we really thought we were going to be like a big pasta company. You know what I mean? We were like visualizing that. We're like pasta. All our like initial sort of branding and stuff was surrounded by pasta because we love it.
Mm-hmm. And sort of long story short, it got to a point where we're like, man, we cannot make enough pasta to make any money. We've got to do something else, We have to switch
theory meets reality.
Right, exactly. And the world had just sort of started opening up, and we'd found this little outdoor flea market that was we were going to go out there and sell pasta, but we were like, man, is there a way we could like maybe cook the pasta or sell some hot food or do something else? And he
but
said,
you both had culinary backgrounds, though, when you got into it, right? And in different ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I worked as a private chef for about 15 years and came from a family of chefs. Or my father's a chef, and he was in the hotel industry.
He was a food and beverage manager when the pandemic actually started, but before then, I spent 15 years bartending and just sort of being a home chef kind of, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so we both enjoyed cooking. That was part of what I fell in love with was watching the
You
chef.
knew what you were getting into, at least.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
it was
The
definitely
perilous
an
path ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
And I grew
So-
up making pizza a little bit, so that helped. But
Yeah,
we called this market and we said, can we make hot food? What can we make? So we could do pasta. I even threw it out there. We had this tiny little
uni.
kind of beat up uni. Discontinued. They don't even make it anymore.
Really? The early uni.
Right. And I said, we can make pizza. And he said, yeah, do pizza. So we'd never done a pizza pop-up before.
All right.
So, all right, let's go.
Okay.
That following weekend, we just started prepping and went out there and.
Yeah. I think what do we sell? Like maybe like 50.
The first time, yeah, it was pretty,
like
pretty
50
small.
pizzas.
50 pizzas is a lot of pizzas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of a small little oven.
Out of that small little oven. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We were like, we were stoked. We made like, I don't know, I think like 700, something like that.
Yeah. We're like, all right, we're going to be able to.
It was enough to cover the rent, We were like, we did it.
Then you got hooked.
Right.
Exactly. We're like, we'll be here next weekend. It was it was honestly a financial relief, and it was fun,
Yeah.
Not fell in love with making pizza right away. It was just the two of us. There was no one taking orders. I'd take order, turn around, shape a pizza. He'd fire it.
Right. Yeah. And it was a lot of fun. We tinkered with the recipe a lot. We had her dad's pizza recipe, and it's a great recipe. It just had some brown sugar in it, and we were just like out in the wild. And on a hot day, this dough was just like going everywhere on us. It was just like we're like, man, we got to make some adjustments.
When something's feeding this yeast and it's going crazy.
Yeah. Watched a lot of YouTube videos and just like.
So you really were self-taught in that regard. You learned the hard way by trial and error, and then self-study.
Yeah.
So what were kind of some of the tweaks that you
had? Say it again.
What were some of the tweaks that you made to get that dough under control?
Well, I messed with the yeast and sugar levels for sure. And then eventually got rid of the sugar altogether. We did just like fermentation time. I've noticed like if we fermented a little longer, it didn't like, a little older, it kind of relaxed. And refrigeration time was a thing we tweaked a lot. And then just realizing like, being outdoors, temperature and all these things came into play. So it was we even like froze them. We like froze them all at once.
In the very beginning. Oh yeah, that was an interesting hack.
Oh, that was a mess.
We had individually frozen dough balls. We thought because it was really hot at Los Feliz Flea, and so we thought, okay, by the time we get there, they'll be
thawed out. We'll be able to work with them, and we pull them out individually. But some of them just
still frozen,
unfreeze.
Oh boy, yeah.
But he really kind of went in on the research and.
I would just kind of watch her too, because she was shaping the dough. So I wouldn't tell her like I was doing something different this week, And I just kind of like see how she reacted. And she'd be like, "What's wrong with this dough this week?" You're like, got it. Go back to the old recipe.
What did you do to this dough?
Right. She'd just be like, "What's happening?" Or she'd be like, "Oh, this feels beautiful." And I'm like, "All right, cool, got it."
So is this like you're doing this at like farmers markets? Is that where it's happening?
Yeah, a little farmers. It's just a little flea market. They would sell like antique clothes mostly, like clothes and different things. But we were there, and a couple other little food vendors were there, and
you were baking them in your. Were you baking them in your uni, or had you graduated to a bigger oven by then?
No, we were still in the uni. It was like a modified uni. It was really cool because you remember back in the days they had the long stacks on them on top.
Yeah.
Her dad like cut it off. He was like, it's not getting, it wouldn't stay hot, so he cut this thing off and sort of like put a little plate on the top. And it's funny now it looks like what the newer unis look like, And so we used that for a while. Right. For sure. Yeah, but it was good.
Yeah, we went. I will never forget the day. Obviously, we outgrew that at the market. We started gaining popularity there, just from going every weekend, and our pizza was improving. and the market was expanding as well. So a lot more people were coming. And the oven put us in a bad way a few times.
Yeah.
One day it was windy.
Right.
And there's hundreds of vendors there, and it just kept blowing the flame out. And we couldn't, not only could we not sell pizzas, we could not leave for like 6 hours. We just had to stand there and be like, I'm sorry, we can't make you pizza. It was kind of heartbreaking,
Yeah.
And on that day, we went home and I was just like, man, we cannot be going home with all this dough and product. Yeah. And we were walking up the stairs to our house and I looked down on the pavement below and because I'm just brainstorming, and I said, let's just sell pizza down there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And Ahmad's like, okay. I'm like, we got to do something with this.
Yeah.
And so that following
just to do it right down there outside your house?
Yeah. I was like, we got to go rogue. We got to just do this. Yeah. Okay. Because it was tight. Money was really tight. Yeah. And
what's the saying? Necessity is the mother of invention.
That's right.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
We found that out a few times in this process.
For sure. Yeah. So we were just, it was a roll of the dice and we set up the next day. Only sold a couple of pizzas.
We sold like 25.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah. But really kind of got to know our neighborhood on that day, or started to. And we're like, wow, this is some amazing people around here. We love this. And people were so grateful. We have a big Spanish speaking population around here, and they were just like, thank you for the fresh food, and
for people who are wondering, who don't know you, you're in Southern California. We're in San Pedro, where you guys are?
In San Pedro, California. It's the harbor area. So we're literally blocks away from the LA harbor, the port of LA.
Yeah.
And, you look down the street and you see these giant like shipping containers just sort of floating by. It's pretty awesome town.
We live in a giant beat up house.
Yeah.
From the outside, it looks haunted.
Yeah.
But it also sounds like in a very diverse neighborhood too, with the
very diverse working class neighborhood. There's not a lot of food options around here. A lot of liquor stores, but not a lot of food options.
Stores, yep.
So when we start setting up and selling pizza like on the sidewalk, people were just like, "Wow!" They couldn't believe it. Like usually it's tacos or hot dogs. So we had pizza, and it was just.
Felt so good too, I think, for people to just be, especially within your community, to be so excited about having that fresh food that even though we didn't make much money, I was just like, let's do this. Let's do this every Sunday. Let's see what happens. Yeah. And and it really blossomed.
It really did. We stopped driving out to LA and just started setting up
flyers called Pizza on the Block.
Instead of what is it? Instead of the mountain going to Muhammad, the Muhammad gave the mountain to you.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and it was really cool. It was a really amazing experience. We got to know the community. And
we eventually couldn't keep up with the uni anymore, and my father loaned us loaned us one of his ovens. I think it's ours now, but he built
a mobile oven, on wheels, or
it's actually really cool. A very unique design. It's a diamond plate steel, and with steel on the bottom, and heats up really quick. I mean, we're up and going in like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you could do like 2-3 pizzas in there if you really like got to, if you're really pushing. But that was a lifesaver for sure. He came down with a quarter, a little quarter wood, and just like, here you go, have at it.
It changed the game entirely. Our pizzas were better, everything.
So there's just a great learning curve happening for you guys. But let me back up for 1 second. So is your father still in the restaurant business or the food business, or does he just all these toys from his days in the game?
Both.
No, both. I think. Oh yeah, I think he's going to be in it, till the end. He's a chef through and through. His name's Chef Frank Miller. He's gotten really into like doing cooking videos online, tutorials and things like that. And he's really good at it.
Gotta look him up.
But he grew up like the old school chefs did, and learned in the kitchen, didn't go to culinary school, was trained by French chefs, brutal French chefs.
Yeah.
Then he trained me. like a brutal French chef.
Pass it
I got a
on.
little post-traumatic, you know what I mean? But it's
Yeah.
okay. We have a great food relationship.
You go old school, right?
Right.
Old school, yeah.
So it sounds like he's kind of like a not so silent partner in your operation.
Yeah, I like to call him our consigliere.
There you go. That's perfect. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. He said we definitely hit him up when we have questions and things, and he's always willing to offer his advice and answers.
Yeah,
so it's
got a lot of
good to have.
It's nice to have somebody that you can go to who you trust who believes in you.
Sure. Yeah,
So you got over that hurdle, and suddenly now you're in business, and you've got a little bit bigger oven, and then now you're like full time into. Is it would you call it a catering business, or what? How would you define the business of Miller Butler now?
Yeah, we're
now we're definitely full service catering.
Yeah, and
you go on site. You can take the oven on site to other people's locations.
Yeah.
Yep, we sure can.
So we started doing that. We started doing like the brewery sort of circuit a little bit, and popping up in different places in different businesses, and local people who would come out and see us. They'd be like, "Hey, would you set up in front of our shop? We're doing whatever this weekend," and we're like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so we kind of became sort of known for bringing the crowd to different businesses in the area, and so that's been really, really good for us. And we definitely been evolved into a catering outfit. Sometimes I think we do too much, but
you still do pasta? Is pasta part of the mix?
Pasta is definitely part of the mix.
Right in there beautifully. We do live pasta stations. We do full grazing tables. We do, we do brunch. And we continue to expand. And I think people recognize that we can do a lot. So they say, "Okay, can you do this?" And we go,
this?
"Okay,
yeah, sure." Somebody
if they're having like a party and they want to hire you to be their caterer, they can design a menu with you and create something unique.
Exactly.
Something unique. Yeah.
We've started doing the live paella, the 100-centimeter paella pans. Those are
pasta and paella.
Really
that's a combo for you.
Yeah.
Pasta, pizza.
Those are really fun.
Yeah.
3 Ps. Wow.
The 3 Ps. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we ought to do that.
But you can never go wrong with paella. Paella is such a great party food,
Yeah,
totally.
It's a crowd play. It's like the oven. When you can see it happening, people really enjoy it. They really get to it. And it's been so interesting too, because a lot of people have picked up since the pandemic, sort of picked up making pizzas. Everybody comes to us and they're like, "Oh, cool oven. Like, I have an oven at home," and then they want to talk to you about dough and all these different things. It's like, "Oh, cool!" Like,
everyone's doing it.
Yeah, it's really fun.
You become the expert for them. Then you become their mentors.
Yeah, in a certain way. Yeah, it's really.
So has the business grown through word of mouth? Then, when you do an event, does that lead to other events that lead to more people calling you and saying, "Can you do that for me?"
Yeah, for sure. We've been really blessed. We've had a really significant amount of growth since we started, and pretty rapid. We've been hustling. We've definitely been grinding really hard. And a lot of it started just like right there on the block when we were doing our pop-ups. It's really interesting. And I think those clients and customers and part of our sort of community have become like really special, and it's fun because, they're the OG block customers.
Right.
And now we're doing, catering events for them, or catering events for, someone they know. And, but yeah, so we started just doing that, and have now we're a preferred vendor at a couple of places. We get, we have a long way to go, but we're blessed to be where we are. We've been pretty much full booked and busy.
Yeah. And she's done a great job with our social media. So a lot of stuff on Facebook. We've really built a really cool organic following, not Facebook, on Instagram, really.
Yeah.
And she's done a really good job with that. And we get a lot of business off of Instagram. It's really amazing.
People want to see any of your Instagram. What do they go to? What's the handle? Miller Butler or what?
Yeah, Miller Butler _SP.
Like San Pedro.
Yep.
Right.
San Pedro. Yeah. Okay, I'm making a note of that.
So we try to keep it authentic, organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fun.
But it's been really helpful in just communicating
where we're going to be,
our process, where we're going to be. Also in promoting other local businesses, because that's kind of something that's important to us. We're a big part of the small business community. And we have a really good one here. And so we try to sort of collaborate with other food businesses, other businesses of all types, you know what I mean? Just to sort of perpetuate growth within the community.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a key word there, community, because we talk about that a lot on Pizza Quest. Is the Pizza Quest itself is as part of a community that I call the our fellow fire freaks, and big community, and then there's the bread community, the breadheads, and I mean there's lots of these, but I think it's community is the thing that we all have in common, and why it's so compelling to so many people. Because if you knew going in how hard you were going to have to work to make this happen, you might not do it. Unless there was some other intangible reward beyond just the financial reward. And I think, it seems the more we explore it, the more it seems like it's connecting with these people and being part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And going up to Napa was really a big part of us, like seeing the pizza community. Mm-hmm. We've known some of the bigger names in the bread and sort of pizza world, but then like to get to meet like Chris Decker or Audrey or yourself, it was really like really cool and interesting. Mm-hmm. Like Tony, right? Yeah, it was
that was exciting for us
because we were up against there were 12 finalists. We represented 2 of the 12 finalists, and we were up against some world champions. I mean, I had never been in a pizza competition. I write about pizza and I know a lot about pizza and I advise on pizza, but I would never compete against these guys. But I took my shot, and you guys were kind of like you're the new face on the scene, but we're seeing all these people who we kind of looked up to for years and years, and kind of intimidating to be up against them. And they didn't all win either. In fact, the winner of the whole thing was one of the lesser known peoples, who we've had on the show. Right. So that was kind of cool that to see that get into competition. All bets are off. It doesn't matter how well known you are. You've got to perform that day and nail it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. No, that was a lot of fun.
Let's talk about that before we forget because I won't get back to this if we don't cover it now. What did you make? What was your pizza on that for you? Because we had to enter a pizza by, the concept. We had to send in a recipe, and then it was 12 people were chosen to come and actually perform it that day. What was yours?
Yeah, so ours was, we call it El Chicano, but for the sake of the tournament, they called it El Angelino. We sort of had to change the name of it.
But you were in the California. Were you in the California category, or what was the?
The Cal-Mex.
You were in the Cal-Mex. There was a Cal-Mex category. Yeah. There was the
and it's one of And so while I'm on the sort of dough end of things, Jillana's like the creator of the flavors that we sort of put pizzas, a lot of cool, interesting stuff. So on that one, we linked up with a local chorizo maker, the Churi Man, who makes unbelievable. I think he might be one of the best in the country. Definitely the best in LA.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's right up the street from us. So
can we give him a shout out? Let's give him a shout out.
You got to check out Shori Man. He's artisanal chorizo, one of a kind, right here in San Pedro.
So many different flavors.
Can you say the name of it? Say the name of it again for people who want to look for him.
Called Chori Man. Chori like chorizo.
Chori Man. Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, make note of that, folks. Yeah.
So tell them about the pizza you created with that magnificent chorizo.
Yeah. So I actually that one came up from cooking the neighborhood. You know what I mean? We have a lot of Hispanic people living around here, and my dad said, "You got to do a Mexican pizza." I said, "Okay, done." And we did it. It's an amalgamation of like lots of different cultures. Obviously it's an Italian base. You have the pizza and but the base we did a chimichurri, which is actually Argentinian.
Yes.
But felt like it would work really well with the flavor profile. So the base is a chimichurri, then it's light cheese, and then the red Zacatecas chorizo. That's my absolute favorite from Chori Man. It's just got a phenomenal flavor profile. And he does his burritos there, which are really good. But I think taking the product home and playing with it, you can really understand the nuance and layers of flavor he has. Like the sprinkle of it on the pizza was just great. So it's got the chorizo, roasted corn, and then we fire it like that. And when it comes out, it gets Oh, I'm sorry, and jalapenos. So chorizo, roasted corn, jalapenos.
Mhm.
When it comes out, it gets fresh cilantro and a drizzle of crema
With some cotija.
and cotija. Yep. So lots of cheeses in there.
Yeah.
And
Sounds
it just
awesome.
feels like a
Yeah.
street taco kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they gave us a choice of ovens that we could use, either their electric oven, 2 electric ovens, and a deck oven, and a kitchen oven, and then there was a wood-fired oven, right?
There was a wood-fired oven, and I had only used basically our wood-fired oven up to that point in the little uni. And so I was like, all right, well, we're using the wood-fired oven.
You would think,
Mhm.
and with at a culinary school there and you think they would have it fired up, and they said
I was totally picturing these big, I was picturing these big, Napolitan style.
Yeah, but it was fine. It didn't fire it up too well for me. And when I realized, I was like, I ran, grabbed some more wood, and just like tried to get it as hot as possible with maybe 2 hours left, and it just didn't get there.
I was cooking inside in an electric oven, but I was looking out the window at the oven that you were going to be cooking in, and I think I went down there an hour or so before you were scheduled to bake, and I was thinking, oh my God, this oven's not hot enough yet, and I was telling somebody, you got to get this thing, fired up, and I really was worried for you guys down there. And then I was my thing, and my oven wasn't set hot enough either, so that was part of my problem. But so we didn't, we ran into technical, challenges. But I was
again, I'm foolish enough to try it again, but
I don't think that anybody people who do this a lot, the people who compete a lot, like at Pizza Expo, I don't know if you're coming to Pizza Expo next month, but there'll be a lot of people competing. And the thing is that they all have had war stories like this, and everybody has had. Especially the oven is always the biggest war story one of that the oven let me down, and they get better at each competition. It's better. So if you go back, you'll know what you're up against and what you're dealing with, and I think you'll have a much better shot at winning. And it's worth it entering these contests for those people who are listening. Who these contests are open to anybody who's professional, semi-professional. You can get in by submitting a recipe, and there's good prize money if you win. And you get a trip to Napa. And you get to hang out with some really cool pizza luminaries. And it was a fun few days together with everybody. They took us to a Mexican restaurant as a group. That's where we all had dinner together, right? At one of at the Napa, at the farm market in I forget the name of the market there, but it was anyway. The little market, but that category that you were in, the Cal Mex category, it sounds like it was really perfect. You were perfectly situated for that category. You had access to great ingredients and a great concept, and got to give it another shot.
Got to, absolutely. And we've kind of been thinking of some new pizzas too that we're going to come with. And I think we kind of want to both. Last time we just entered the one pizza, assuming we can kind of come in as a team.
Yeah, I entered us because I do a lot of that stuff, the admin, and I entered us just, probably 11:30 at night, the last minute. Right. Because after a pop-up, we got home from a pop-up, and I said, we're not going to miss this opportunity. I'm falling asleep, putting the thing in.
Right.
But
so this year we will both enter.
And then they're like, okay. I kind of passed the baton to Ahmad because he's much more of our pizza-iolo and wanted, to have him make pizzas. But this year, I think we'll both enter and see.
Yeah. Why not?
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. And the judges, are going at first by the written recipes. You got to do for the people who are listening. If you enter, you can write your recipe out clearly and descriptively, so the judges can get their mind around it, because they're not going to make it until they've looked at all the recipes, and then they're going to have you make it if they think it's good enough for you to bring you in for. So you got to get them to eat it with their eyes, and then and so why not enter more than one? Especially since you both have skills. In fact, John, if I'm not mistaken, you were, as you said, had been a chef for many years before you all got married and were in this business together. You were like a private chef, weren't you, for people in the film industry and things like that?
Yeah, I was. I got into it in my kind of mid-20s, I guess, and wasn't. At first, I really didn't want to do it. I thought, I don't want to cook for these rich people. And I don't want to deal with all that. But I kind of fell into a really great position with Rick Rubin. He's really phenomenal producer.
Well, that's a good person to get connected with early on, you know?
Yeah. He was very health conscious, and I'm really, I have a lot in my arsenal in terms of, you know, food as medicine and things like that. And so my dad, he was my dad's client. My dad wasn't really into doing it. He's like, this is not my vibe. So he kind of had me start doing it and doing the drop-offs. And then they pulled me in as an in-house chef. And I feel like I got kind of a paid, also self-taught in that time, but kind of a paid education in a way, because I was pretty green when I went in, you know what I mean? And I just had to learn on the fly. I had to learn a lot. I had my experience from growing up, learning the classics, but it was all new diets, all new, you know.
Right.
But anyway, I really, you know, I dove in as I usually do with things, and really into it. And then word of mouth really spread, and I started picking up a lot of different clients just by word of mouth. And that, you know, that sustained me for a long time. It was a good, really fun career. And I got to travel with some clients and, you know, really learn to tailor flavors to each client's palate. That's kind of a lot of what it's about.
When you were cooking for clients like that, were you also having to oversee like the catering side of it? Did you have to order the plateware and all this kind of stuff? Or were you just going in there and cooking and using their kitchens and their tools?
It really depended on the client, you know, because I've really done a lot of different people. Like I said, I did Rick Rubin, I did Mary J. Blige. She was pretty part-time. I did DJ Khaled. That was all drop off at the Beverly Hills Hotel for months, just like 6 meals a day. I'd go drop them off to him. What else did I do? A lot of athletes.
Bryant after he retired.
Yeah, I got into Kobe Bryant, Tristan Thompson. Eventually, my last client was Rajon Rondo, who, you know, became like a good friend and family, you know.
So you were into the sports world as well as the film world, and
yeah. And then I did Diddy. That was probably the wildest one. So that was crazy. And I didn't have to worry about, you know, any of the dishware, anything like that. They'd get the highest quality of everything. And I was in charge of doing their business meetings when he wanted to close a deal, because they had split the anyway, blah blah blah.
Nice. Yeah. But those are some pretty high profile clients, which I'm just wondering now, as you start starting to build your business, you've paid your dues now the last few years, you've established your brand, you've got a great reputation, great success stories now, and learning curves. So where's it all going? And can some of these former clients of yours do you view them as potential investors to help you get maybe a brick and mortar? Are you looking in that direction at all, or do you want to stay in the catering sector?
Yeah, we are looking at a brick and mortar now. We've been talking about it. You know, it's hard being in the wild. You know, just sort of like it's raining right now here in California. There's been a couple pop-ups we've had to cancel recently because of the rain. There's wind comes up. You know, we've got so many stories. We were at Smorgasbord last year, and we've got a line full of people, and our tent blew away. And
people were still standing in line. That's what I mean. There were customers holding it, and people were just still down to go.
They're just like,
they're like, "Cool, I'll have the Chicano." Like, and
she's looking at me like, "What do we do?" I'm like, "We keep making pizzas. That's what we do."
We had a great day. We did really well.
But ready to settle down, and we have been thinking about investors. A lot of that's a learning curve to us because you know, we were in survival mode when we started this, and so now we're like in sustain mode, and there's a lot to learn about it. We don't want to get caught up with an investor who, like, you know, changes the integrity of the product
or the brand,
or you know, like that's something we're worried about. We're concerned about, and we don't really know what a healthy profit sharing model looks like. That's something we're looking into and learning. And we're like talking to, you know, people we trust and just try to, you know, bend people's ears. And luckily the community here is looking out for us, and they're, you know, and they're asking the right questions of us, and we're going out and trying to find the answers. And hopefully soon, we've been talking to a few people, and we have some things on the table that we need to work out. But yeah, hopefully really soon we'll be in our own regular kitchen, professional, and
be able to open our doors to people,
Yeah.
Regularly, as opposed to a couple times a week,
Right.
be able to provide things like our fresh pasta in a small retail area. And,
and still
we've
do-
created a gathering space on the street a lot,
Right.
which I really love. And I hope to continue to do that
Yeah.
from time to time.
Mhm.
But it'd be great to have a home base for that. It'd be great to have walls around it.
Mhm.
We have a toddler, so this is a busy life we're living.
Yeah. Yeah. But we definitely want to continue the catering. We don't want to get caught up in I feel like we've been brainstorming, and we feel like there's a way to open a brick and mortar without getting sort of caught up in the sort of day-to-day, restaurant kind of lifestyle. Like, so we can do some catering, we can do some experiential dining, we can still go out on the street and pop up, we can open the doors and let people in from time to time. But so we're working on a business model that's
Smart.
that's smart and that I think people are going to enjoy, and it's not going to like drain us and drive us crazy.
Yeah, I grew up in the restaurant industry, so I'm not naive to what it costs, what it takes, and I'm passionate about it. On the same token, I think there is kind of a lot of people are following a kind of a newer restaurant model or food business model that isn't so, you're open
Right.
6 days a week, all of the time. It drains a lot of money. So we want to create a system where everything is sort of supporting each other. The catering is supporting the location. The location is supporting the catering.
And our pop-ups are, are a good advertisement for the catering as well. When they see us out on the street, they're like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, we want you to come to our house and do that too. And so,
So you're kind of trying to design a sustainable model that they can work on without burning you guys out. Do you currently, when you go out on a job now, do you currently just go the two of you, or do you have employees that you bring, and do you have a team of people that are already training?
Yeah, we do. We have a growing team, and we kind of got lucky. A restaurant in Long Beach kind of closed down, and we were able to pick off a couple of their young cooks, and we've got completely by accident.
A Craigslist ad.
Yeah, and we found a kid who was getting ready to go to culinary school, right out of high school, and so we kind of brought him into the fold. And another friend of ours who just happened to be looking for some work, and we brought her into the fold, and so we've just kind of been making it work. And it got to a point last year we were able to do a 300-person wedding with a couple of Gosneys and a little portable convection oven, and and we had a full team of people and
3 grazing tables, half hors d'oeuvres, pizzas, salad. It was definitely like our biggest yet. So it was really fun and exciting to get that under our belt, and it went smoothly, which was great. Definitely.
But it's interesting how all of your past experience kind of comes full circle for you with your hotel and food and beverage experience, your private chefing, everything, to doing a big event like that. You already were ready. You were pre-trained to jump into that breach.
Absolutely.
So I think it sounds like I'm describing it, that you've got all the pieces in place, plus not only a good idea for a plan to create a business plan, which is so key, is to having a well thought out plan, but also having advisors that you can go to, whether it's financial advisors or just references to help you just put it all together. And it's cool when it happens, because not everybody has a story that progresses this positively. By now, most of the projects that start out like yours have crashed and burned already, and they're never going back in the pool again.
Right? No, it's true.
You kind of got through it all.
There's a lot of hanging in there for sure. But really
and we're not out the woods yet. Like this winter has been kind of rough for us. It's been pretty slow. We're kind of waiting till mid-March. We've got a couple of big events coming then, and then into the spring, it starts to roll. And so we're like, all right, we just got to get through this next, month here and, and we'll
Go to the
good.
drawing board, work on
Right.
that stuff.
Yeah, but so it's still a lot of work, and there's still a lot of danger out there for us, I guess you'd say. But we've been doing it now for enough years, and we've gotten through enough of those obstacles that we're confident that whatever comes up, we can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
experience as part of our our journey. It's like
exactly.
It's Miller Butler. It's our family. It's our life. It's our everything.
Exactly. I mean, well, we always like to kind of frame this in the sense of our quest. What each of us are on a quest of some sort. Right. How would you define your quest? What is the quest that you guys are on together?
Oh, that's good.
Oh, good question. Our quest is like we're building family and business. I feel like that's kind of.
I feel like we're building for our family, with our family. Yeah, we have a toddler. We want her to have something. Additionally, for and with our community. I think that's really probably the biggest thing for us is community has just been so extraordinary. I didn't even know community could be like this.
Yeah.
They have I became pregnant early on in these pop-ups. Women would come. I honestly, I've been kind of a career woman, so I was like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Come with just how are you doing? And bring me, products and hand-me-down blankets and just the love, honestly gets me emotional. It's just extraordinary. So we want to continue to just pour into the community, create a space for people to connect over food, because that's really something we've seen the power of, is just bringing people together through food. We had our pop-ups would have literally every walk of life, and all of a sudden they're hanging out together. Right. So I would say
that's kind of our mission. Yeah. One day we want to have at Giuseppe's place or whatever, a picture of me and Jillana up on the wall, and they're like, that's my uncle right there. He started this 50 years ago. Look at us now,
You're gonna have a legacy.
Exactly.
Build a legacy.
And it's really cool being part of that sort of that legacy of mom and pops who, just do whatever it takes to keep the family going, keep everybody fed, and build a community. And it's been a really amazing experience and quest so far. So
I don't know what your schedule's like in March, but if you're not booked from March 19th to the 21st, that's when the Pizza Expo is happening.
We actually are booked.
So you're not going to be able to come.
We definitely wanted to go. We went last year, was our first year, and it was we didn't really know what to do. We were just sort of there, seeing.
Usually, the connections and the community part happens on your second visit. Because and then you reconnect, and that's when it starts to happen. And suddenly you're part of a big extended family. Beyond even the one that you have at home. So
where we found out about the California cheese.
That's it. That's when we went
to
to their
booth, and they said, "Oh, you should enter," and kind of explained it to us. And I was like, "Cool, I'll see you in Napa." And he was like, "Ooh, confident."
That is pretty good. You spoke it into existence. You manifested it. Is that what they say now?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've accomplished so far. Congratulations for surviving the early days and it's growing and it's starting to take shape. So we're going to be tracking it. We're going to stay in touch. Hopefully we'll get you back from time to time to give us updates and your progress reports.
Love that.
And especially when if you move it into the into the brick and mortar, I could just see you guys having a ranchero somewhere with patios and outdoor dining and open fires and all sorts of other. So I could say
speaking it into existence. I love it.
Into existence. Yeah. So we're excited to connect with more people in this pizza community. And learn more. We've got a long way to go.
Got a lot to learn. It's exciting.
You've accomplished a lot, and yet your journey's still in the early stages. So look how much has happened in such a short amount of time for you. I think that's kind of what everyone's dream is when they get into this. There's so many other people that have similar aspirations that you have, and they want to know, well, what was it like for you? And you'll be able to share those stories with them. But the takeaway for me from this conversation today is how important it was that you guys did it together and held together and brought, your two talents together in a way that created something bigger than the sum of the parts, and that you endured the hard days and are still standing to tell the story and to keep telling the stories.
Yeah, that's it, for sure.
So thanks so much for joining us today on Pizza and sharing, your story. I will look forward to seeing you. If not, I won't see you in Vegas. But maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll see you in Napa again.
Hey, who knows?
Maybe, you never know.
They're only now, for those people who are just listening, I think it may not be too late. The applications for entering are going to happen any day now, but also they close quickly. So jump on if you want to enter. And if you do, then maybe you'll see Ahmad and Jillana out there, or me if we're lucky enough to get there. And I still have to get permission from my wife to even enter because it's disruptive too. When you go, look, you have to give up some days of work to go out there, and it's like an investment in business as well. Especially if you don't get prize money, then it's a real investment.
Right. Real investment, right.
We know what that's like. Yeah. So, but it's all part of the game, and so so I'm glad you're part of this, pizza community, and I look forward to interacting with you, over the next number of years as you grow your business, your family, and your community.
Thank you.
Jillana Miller, Ahmad Butler, thank you. For those who want to keep track, it's Miller Butler SP on Instagram, or go look. You have a website, right? Miller Butler.
MillerButler.com.
MillerButler.com. So keep track, and if you're out in the Southern California area, let them know. And if you're living out there and are looking for a caterer, give them a call.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
My pleasure. Great to see you, and I look forward to seeing you again. And thank all of you for joining us on Pizza Quest. We'll see you on the next episode.
Pizza Quest is powered by Simplecast. Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. Keep in touch at heritageradionetwork.org/subscribe.